All right, guys, welcome. I'm going to go in really quick here, sketch out a character that I've been working on, and then we're going to take them into brown paper, and then we're going to color them up just using some base tone inside Sketchbook Pro. And I just wanted to show you an option that you can do for this. Okay, so I like to sketch in blue, so I'm just going to start sketching here real quick, and I'll see if I can't rough something out real fast. I'll go ahead and leave the recorder on, and then after that we will finalize what we're working on. Okay, so give me a minute here and let me get going. All right. Oh, first things first, let's go check image size. I didn't do that. I created a new canvas here, so I want to make sure I'm good. Yeah, I'm glad I did that because I want to go at least to 200 DPI right now. There we go. There, now I'm good to go. Let's see if that adjusted my brush. Yep, it did, and I'm no longer. Let's go back to blue. Okay, cool. Now we can start sketching a little bit. Zoom in here for a little bit. Okay. So I'm just working on trying to get some shapes in here. I was sketching this raccoon earlier, and it's funny because he's on his way of developing into a little bit of a cat. That's okay for right now. Part of one thing I notice when I'm sketching like this is what's really important is getting part of the body in on the raccoon. That has a lot to deal with getting the part of the shape and the gesture because they have a very distinctive body type. So it's funny, you can be working on a face and it could easily start to turn into a cat when you don't want it to, but that's okay. So that's enough, right? Oops. Right there, let me move him up a little bit more. And let's see if I can sketch a little bit of a body in here, and then we'll go inside and start crafting this guy out a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna, even though I might come in here, I could do this real quick, it'd be fine. I have little spots that I'm developing on my raccoon because raccoon have what we call raccoon eyes. You know, if you go out in the sun and you have your sunglasses on, people make fun of you. So this part right here is all sort of shaded on my character. So I'm going to get in here and just sort of throw this in real quick. Okay, let me just get that in there. There, so I have that part's going to be shaded. And then, give me a second here, let's get a couple of whiskers on him. I like to shade up part of the nose a little bit too here. And then I like to shade this part down here too. Here's a pattern structure that I've been working on, you know, looking at real raccoon reference and then drawing something that's a little bit more cartoony or stylized. And I like, this is part of the pattern that I've sort of was messing with, was the raccoon eyes, dark nose. That way I have constant contrast sort of happening inside my shape here. I also have a little bit of fur sort of going around him. So let me just come in here now and sketch a little bit of a belly shape. Figure out what this guy's body's doing. Okay. And what's really fun on just raccoons, I was messing around with earlier, their hands, they're like little claws, they're like little human hands, like little pads on them, and they're really fun to sort of sketch. Let me see if let me get this. And they also look like they have trash bag arms. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me see if I can have this guy, let's have him maybe holding a piece of pizza that he found in the trash can, let's say. Okay, so for their arms, I like stretching them out a little bit. They get this sort of elbow, and then they have this like hangy fur thing that comes down a little bit like this. And I think that adds a lot of fun to what the character is. And so here, let's bring his hand up a little bit. Let's see, just figure out my shape here. Too busy talking. There. I'm going to wrap that around a little bit. There we go. And it's a little too long. Let's bring that back just a little bit more. And then let's get in here. I'm going to have him holding a piece of pizza. So first thing I do on the hand, the raccoon hand tends to be sort of round. And then I could come in here and I get these like little, let me sketch it up here. I get these little like pads where you come in here and like the finger extends and then they have a pad and they have a nail. And that's actually sort of it. You just draw that and you get the pad and the nail. And then you sort of connect everything together just like a normal thumb, little nail, and then it starts to look like a little raccoon hand, which is pretty cool. So hold on, let me figure this out. This guy's going to be holding a piece of pizza that he got from the trash can. And I didn't really think about what he had. Let me fold this over. There we go. And now I don't like that because it's a straight vertical, and I didn't mean to throw a vertical in there. Let me get his hand tilted a little bit like this. Pizza. Okay, give me a second. Maybe it's sort of bending over. Pizza bends. Especially if it's old pizza. It's been in the trash can, right? Why not? Oops. I'm trying to get the shape I want out there and it's not really coming out. Here we go. So let me lighten that up a little bit and fix it. There we go, that'll work. And then let me get his other, here, let's figure out his, so we're not going to see part of his hand here, but I'll see a little bit of his round paw right there. And I could cheat it and throw maybe that in there. So we just see that coming off the end. And then maybe right here I'll put a little finger there that might be holding pizza a little bit in here. Okay, let's put some pepperoni on it, right? There. So he's gonna eat his pizza that he just found in the trash can. Okay, so I got one arm in there. Let's go ahead, let me sketch his other arm in. Let's finish up his body in there. He's like, huh? Pizza? Pizza good. I'm trying to think of what I should put in his other hand right here.
A bag of chips?
Oh, that's a good, okay. I'll do a bag of chips. Maybe he can be holding like a bag of Ruffles or something. I don't know, I don't want to pull too much away from the character, so let me see if how would I get those chips in there? Actually, I can take out the bag of chips. I just want to stick with the character right now. Part of our demo is doing the character. I don't want to get too much caught up in the story or anything. And I undid that and brought it back by accident. There we go. So, I'm just going to bring it down and I'll put something in his hand like salt or something. I don't know. Okay. Come back to that arm. I'm not feeling the vibe on the arm. Let me sketch his feet in here. So he's going to have got these like little padded feet. The nails on them. Same thing on that side. And I want the middle toe to be a little bit larger. Okay, there we go. Okay. Could have them with a napkin or something, I don't know. Let's just finish this up here real quick. I just had a weird idea. What if he has a banana in his hand and he can't make a decision what to eat first? Right? Why not? Oh, that was huge. Back up there. And they have like little pads on there. Okay. Let's put the other. Got a banana with a bite out of it already. There, so now I can't figure out what to eat. Let's say. Let's go ahead, let's throw a little. Okay, so there's our raccoon, and he's got pizza and a banana, and he can't make up his mind where to go. Okay, so real quick, let me save this before I close it like I did in the last demo and lose everything. Save as, let me just save it to the desktop really quick. Desktop, and let's call this raccoon demo. Okay, save. Alright. You know what I did is I wanted to come over here, but I don't know if we have enough time, as I wanted to draw like some creature looking up at him, like begging for the, like, give me something to eat, and he's trying to decide which one he wants to eat, you know. It'd be fun if I had more time, but I'm just want to do this real quick. So here, we have that saved now. So here, let me minimize that, okay. What we want to do is, let me go grab that, I guess got to find out where I saved it on my desktop here. Let's see, let me see if I can just bring it up. Let's bring up Photoshop, and I'm going to adjust the line real quick. There it is. Drag it and drop there. So now now we're in Photoshop. Okay, there's my raccoon. And I just want to go real quick here into levels. Let me just do this image. I could make the line brown, which would be really cool, because I want to go on and do some values on them. That way it wouldn't be too competitive, but I don't mind doing the black right now either. So I can go over here to adjustments, and actually, why don't we try this? Let's just go to Control U and see if we can just slide them around. See, I could pull up a brown like this. Oops, not that one. Let's go back to 0. I meant to do this. That's not bad at all. It's a little bit more of a gray, and it's not quite too dark, so that's not bad. Let's just keep that right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save that, but I'm not going to save it as the file. I want to save my original that I drew. I'm going to call this line. There, so it's done. Save. Hit OK. OK. All right. All right, and now let's go over here, and let's just close this. And let's bring up Sketchbook Pro. And bring up the paper first. So it's Sketchbook Pro right here. Boom, we have it up now. Okay, and what I can do is just turn this layer off, and then I could go to File, and I could come on over here, and I can tell it to import really quick. So it's actually under, where is it? I always do it. It's just Open. Okay, or excuse me, Add Image under File. Open new file. If I add image right now, I come over here and I scroll down there, and let's find it on my dirty desktop. There is raccoon line. Hit Open. There it is. Now I have them in line where it's not pure black, and I can sort of work under that. Now next, I'm going to add a layer in between these two here. Okay, I want to add some paper. Okay, let me pause and find my paper folder real quick. Okay, let's resume here. So now I have that other layer here. I'm going to come over to File, and we're going to add image right now. And if I come over here, I dropped it on my desktop here. It's called Paper. And when I open up Paper, you'll see I have a couple different papers. I have a rough PSD here. I have a base paper, a Canson paper. Okay, so I have 4 different versions for it. I'm going to hit base paper right here. Let's see what happens when I place this. Why don't I see it? All right, that's not good. Let me just try that again one more time, guys. File, add image. And you know what? Maybe I need to do it as a TIFF. That's why it's not working. Okay, let me pause and find out what's going on. All right, so now I got it up. So look, I brought the paper up. It's just taking a second to load. It's a little high res. So I'm going to go up to the layer above. I'm going to click on the icon on the right, not on this box. That box set is adding layers, names, merging down. I want to click on this little box right here. And if I come over here, there's multiply blend mode. That multiplies my line layer, and now I have base paper underneath, which is really cool. Okay, so what that allows me to do, now I can come over here, I can select all. Let me select this right here. I can adjust the paper size to fit. It's just a base paper that I scanned in, so I can hit scale, like so. Okay, now I have basically a line drawing over paper, and I could go in and I could start carving out shape and so on, and with color. And I have my line drawing up above it. And if I want to, let me see if this works as good as it does in Photoshop. Second, all right. Okay, so what I did really quick is I just selected this layer like this, and I went and I duplicated it, and I created a secondary layer above, And then what I can do is I can turn up that to increase my line quality of my character right there. Okay, that's really convenient, really user friendly for me to use. Okay, so now let's go in here. I want to create a layer above my tone. And I hope that makes sense. Why am I doing that? Because this is where I could come in now with my Copic markers. So I can touch my Copic markers. Let me bring it up over here. I can actually drop my layers out of the way because I don't need my layers right now. I can put them over here. Everything I'm going to do is going to be on this middle layer right here. Look, my line drawing's up above. Down here is going to be my tone, and I'm using the tone of the paper as a base. And then I could come in, put highlights, all kinds of good stuff. So let's come in here right now. Let me just see if I could zoom in here because I know we're doing this as a demo, and I'm going to just do the face right now. Okay, so I'm on my layer that I need to be on. If you want to label it, just because you might forget, click over here, go over to the letter right there. You could come up here, and now you could type something in if you want. We could call it tone layer, you know, or you could take off that checkbox and you can write it in right there. So I'm going to hit tone. Now it says tone there, so I know what layer I have. Okay, great. Now I can come over with my Copics, okay, or anything else I want to use in here. There's lots of different brushes. There's lots of presets. Have fun, okay? And I'm going to just throw some tone around his face really quick underneath that line. And then I can come back and paint a little bit on top of that if I want to too. I like the marker selection in here. They feel just like real markers. Look, I'm going to select my brown Copic. There I have a range. I have 2 different settings of browns. There, some warm browns. Some of these are a little bit different. I'm going to come over here. I want to work with lighter first. So if I come over here and I start working, what's sort of cool about this is I'm actually working on top of brown paper, so I could still come in and put white highlights. I'm not working on just flat white anymore. That's a huge difference for me. Okay, so I'm going to throw some of this down in around here. Let me throw some around there. I like to just start with a base color because then I could come back a little bit later and I could put something on top of it, right? If you want to get the little nudge of hair in there, you can come down and get a smaller marker like this, and you can get the little fine points in there. That's totally fine if that's what you want to do. This is one of the things I love about this program, is it really is very, very user-friendly for stuff like this. Okay. See if I can't maybe put in a little bit here too. Okay, there. And then I'm going to come over here, and then I can work up ever so lightly and darkly if I want. I can take a darker value like this. I could come over here. I can switch to the darker set of Copics. I have a whole range there. And again, it's just having fun and using your pressure sensitivity. You know, I could come in here right now and just sort of come along here and sort of brush a little bit. That's a little bit more of a feminine color, so I'm going to undo that. Okay, let's just get this guy down. I want to put a dark around his base there. So let me hit undo. Take off the light pink, the rouge I was putting on him. All right, now it's not undoing. I don't know if that's the video recorder. All right, let's see if that goes. I have the spinning wheel of death from Windows. All right, there it stopped. Let's leave it alone. So I'm just going to pick a darker value now. Let's see what was over here. It's like this. Let's see what this looks like in here. That's still coming out really light. It's not coming out as dark as it shows. One second, I want to check something. All right, let me keep going here. So what's happening is the brown paper is making these pop a little bit. That's okay. Let me just get in here. It's changing some of the colors that I have on there. All right. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to stop for a minute. I was having a little technical issue there. So let me come over here and start getting some colors that I want to use here. Let's bring up the color picker here. All right. some of these. I want to get some other browns. A little bit darker in here. Lighter one. There we go. It's going to be a little bit darker. That. Very cool. Okay, now I can come in here and the layers set up. We shouldn't have any more problems. I got a couple colors here. This is a fun thing to do. You guys see what I did there? I'm creating some swatches over here because some of the colors, they look smaller in the Copic section here, but then when I hit them, they really change from the color that's being displayed. And some of that could be the influence of the tone paper. So I'm just selecting a couple values here to see what I want. That way when I'm working, I could come over here and swab very quickly and save me a little bit of time. Okay, so let me come over here. Let me darken up this section right around here. Let me grab a brown. Come over here and start getting some brown in there. What I did now is I just put another layer above my tone base layer. Here, let me show you what I have here. So I just threw a quick base down, just some browns in there, right? And now I'm throwing another layer above right here because once I get the darks down, I can't really paint over them anymore. So now with this other layer, now I could come back in here with a different thickness marker and see I can start addressing some like little highlights. I can put some little indications of surface texture on there. Once I get this going in here, what I can do is that comes out really strong like that. I'm not using the pen tool, it tends to make the highlights very strong. I could just drop down the opacity setting and I could blend that in a little bit like that. And then once I get it where I like it, somewhere like that, I can come back in and do another pass and keep applying some darks and so on and adjusting the opacity. I'm going to stop the recorder real quick because you can see the opacity is moving on its own and I'm not even touching the screen right now. And that's because the recorder is competing with the memory of the program. So let me pause for a second. Okay, sorry, I had to pause it real quick. So I just came in here, I created another layer now. We're just going over that. I was putting some little highlights here just to separate things out. I came in through another layer up here really fast, and I just took the airbrush tool and I painted some white for the eyes. And what I like to do is I just sort of like to build up from here. I think of where my light source is coming from, add some shadows, build up some tone, maybe throw in some other colors and so on. I have a really limited line layer on there. If I raise my line, you can see it gets a little bit easier to see and the line sort of comes back in there and it works. So what I'm going to do is just come back in here and just keep working on this guy. Layers that I commit to, like this guy here, I'm just going to take it down and just merge it with the layer that's down underneath. And then I could come back over here now on this, okay? This is the white. I want to keep the white of his eyes right there. Let me make sure that's up all the way. Let me come in with the airbrush tool. I like the airbrush tool a lot. It's fun. I know it's not as good as Photoshop. If you know Photoshop and you want to work in Photoshop, go for it. But for $20, you can own Sketchbook Pro and you can't go wrong with that. Okay, there we go. So now I merged that down with the layer here. I'm going to create another layer above this, and I'm just going to come in here and start penciling in some more little details and see where I end up. Okay, so let me just keep going from here. We'll focus on the face. I'm just taking the brown and coming along the base here under some of these highlights, just hitting it a little bit different, darkening it up just a little bit. And again, I'm using the airbrush tool right now. It works nice. It's light. Allows you to get really nice gradients. Sketchbook Pro. Come on. Go, baby. There you go. See what's happening with my line on there. I'm going to come back and try to get some fur pattern sort of stroking across there. Let me commit to this. Let me drop this layer downward again. Merge to below. Okay. And I have this one. I'm going to merge this one down as well. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pause so we don't eat up too much time here. And then I'm going to put just a couple highlights in here and try to add a little bit more, get the nose going. Okay. Be right back. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I came in here and I put a layer up on the top and I put a little highlight up here. And now I'm coming in and I'm just darkening. I'm putting a little bit more darks. I'm up above the line layer now, so anything that I do is going to come in here. And I want to get this sort of feathered look or feel of the fur. So I'm just coming in here and starting to darken some of the tips and trying to get the underside part to really pop out a little bit more. I already have some highlights in there. And I could come back and add more highlights. Again, it's just like, you know, it's applying part of the rendering process of going dark to light and getting in there and figuring out how to get those values to all sort of come together. And he does have a, you know, raccoons are furry, so I want to see if I can get some of that fur in there going up. And somebody did ask, is it easier in Photoshop? Yeah, it's easier to do this in Photoshop, but you know, if you don't have Photoshop, you don't have a license, Sketchbook Pro is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it for the $20. Now, I'm just painting a little bit on the line here because this is sort of cool. As I paint more on the line, it's going to get rid of some of the line that's there. And there's a couple spots where I might want that to sort of happen. Fade off a little bit of the line so that way paint stays on top of it. Let's clean up some edges in there. What I want to do now is I just want to put a little bit, I'm going to do this on a fresh layer here. Let's go down here, we'll do this for here. I'm going to merge this, let's see what was on that layer. Got a couple of the eyes on there, some highlights. Actually sort of like that when it was off. Take a look at what happened. There we go, a lag time with the computer. Let's get that on, let me merge that. Down below, there we go, merge with below, okay. And just want to put a little bit of warm color in there. So I grabbed this warm sort, it says brown here, but when you, it's like a rose. I just want to hit, I'm on a separate layer right now. Just want to hit this across here. A little bit of that warm color into the side of his face. Gets him to pop just a little bit. You see that? It's just a little. It's not too much. Okay, sort of like that. I might also come up here and put a little bit of a light. See if I can get a yellow up there of some kind. See what that does. that's not really yellow, but let me see if I can adjust it a little bit more. Let's try about here. There you go. And that's even too much. Let me Command do a little. There we go. And go back to this color here. That had something I was liking. Let's pull up on the layer. I'm competing with the line now, so I'm just going to see if I can't go up and paint this up above on the line and get that little part to fade off in there. It's not bad. I've spent about, I don't know, about 15 minutes, about 20 minutes starting to rendering out his face here. No, yeah, no, it's about 12 minutes. And the face is starting to come together. I'm starting to like what I see. And now what I can do is, let me come down here, commit, let's merge down. And then I'm going to take this, I can take my eraser now, and I could come over here, and I could go along and I could clean up any of the fuzzy edges that I have. See this? And I can erase and get a nice crisp edge along his face right there. I can do the same thing over here. Any overspray you have that you don't like, makes it really easy to come in here and erase some of this. That way I really get the character to sort of pop out in here. Okay. So if I come back into this, I think I'm about 15 minutes into it total, and then I did the drawing was about 10 minutes or so. I have enough defined on the face, and what I like to do, I'm zoomed in on it right now. I like to work like this, where I might zoom out of it, and I'm looking for the whole effect on the body and the character. I might come in here and punch his eyes up a little bit more, develop them up a little bit more, and then come back and figure out what else I want to punch up, any other highlights or anything. But for right now, I mean, that's a good way to get you guys to go. Oops. When that happens, as I have quite a bit of information there, and if there's anything I want to go over, I can do that very easily just by switching to another layer and going on top of it. Okay, it saves me a lot of time. So let me go ahead and stop right now and see if I can't get this rendering. Okay, and then I'll see if I can't finish this up a little bit later.